Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and humans are weird. Now, I say that recognizing that I just so happen to be one of those. And this does not, of course, apply to Bitcoin maxi trolls, which, of course, are not human. I'm a troll. Live under a bridge. Go away, Bitcoin maxi troll. I'm trying to record an XRP-related video. So here's the thing. I've talked a lot. I've talked quite a bit about, well, a lot of different things on this channel in the nearly 2-year history. But a lot of it's news, of course, analysis, and certainly I've stated many times that my investment thesis is that utility matters and will win the day. So I love talking about the fundamentals of XRP and why I personally feel like it makes sense for me to invest in and hold XRP. And a lot of it has to do with the developers building on top of the XRP ledger, including Ripple, of course. But there's more to it than that. Why is it? Because I've stated many times, in quite a cocky fashion, that I am emotionally bulletproof when it comes to the volatility of the price action of XRP. Why is that? Well, it has to do with me being in the space for 3 years and researching intensely for just like a crazy amount of time every day. But it's not just that. It's understanding how humans behave when it comes to buying and selling assets. And so this article from Cointelegraph, which is titled "Financial Literacy Will Make the Digital Asset Industry Sustainable for the Future," it said a lot, and I'm going to cover as much of this as I can. I don't want the video to go too long, so I'm going to do my best to moderate that. But there were some real gems, and so I just think understanding how humans operate, since we are humans, right? Just being aware of this can go a long way, because when it comes to buying and selling, having emotions in check is crucial. The last thing you want to do, in my opinion, is make buying and selling decisions based on emotion. It's better to make them based on logic. Now, to be clear, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have any sort of financial background whatsoever. So don't buy or sell anything because of me. I'm just an enthusiastic member of the XRP community that likes talking about crypto and XRP-related things and making YouTube videos as a hobby. That's it. Just want to be clear. Now, before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button. I'd appreciate the support. And also, if you agree that humans are weird, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. We can just hang out and be weird together or something like that. Oh, shout out to BonCryp XRP. My friend, thank you very much for sending this piece my way. I very much appreciate it. This is just a gold mine for understanding. And even if you understand, like on a conceptual level, how humans behave when it comes to buying and selling, I gotta tell you, man, there is something about repetition that is completely necessary when it comes to buying and selling stuff, just to get it solid, right? So here we go. The piece begins like this: the cryptocurrency market is still in its infancy, and the overpowering sense of possibility is strong. The range of attitudes toward crypto is generally broad, but recent surveys shed light on certain inclinations one way or another. On one hand, we see beginners who venture into projects they fail to fully grasp, and on the other, we see aspirants to crypto investing who question their capability or getting involved. And I think that's a fair enough statement, and I've admitted this too. So when I entered the world of crypto in November 2017, I entered buying stuff that I had not nearly sufficiently researched. But here's the thing. I knew what I was doing, in the sense that when I did that, I was like, oh, I'm just going to treat this, and I barely put any money, just to be clear, I almost put nothing in. I was like, I'm going to treat this like gambling. Go in. And I was like, I'm going to treat it like gambling, and then I'm going to do my research. That's basically how I approached it. But I admit, when I jumped in, it was just like a little funny internet money, whatever. Okay. And then, of course, once I researched it, I discovered all sorts of things I never could have possibly just come up with on my own. I was like, oh my gosh, there really is actually something to this. And I wasn't, and so like my baseline is always like, be a skeptic, of course. And so I'm not, and be open-minded as well. But so I'm not saying that I thought that it wasn't something. I certainly didn't know. I'm just saying that even so, I didn't expect to find what I ended up finding. And so at one end of the spectrum are the crypto dilettantes, where, interestingly, understanding and confidence tend to be inversely correlated. Check this out. Last year, Dutch bank ING interviewed around 10,500 people in Europe about cryptocurrencies. Of the 13% with the lowest crypto knowledge, 80% demonstrated high or medium confidence in its future. That is fascinating, right? Huh. And so the piece continues. The cognitive bias of these findings suggests makes for an uncomfortable journey towards crypto mass adoption. Still, I believe that interest, whether matched by sound understanding or not, is a step in the right direction. And so this goes back to something that I've cited. And so in this case, it happened to be in the affirmative, but these are people that have strong opinions that don't deserve to have those strong opinions because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And so I always encourage people, like, don't behave like this. Like, if you don't know something, just be like, yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't have an opinion on this because I'm not educated. Like, maybe start there. Maybe that's a reasonable starting point right here. Like, that's where I started with XRP as a blank slate. And as I researched it, that's when I became, because I didn't want it to be one way or the other. I just wanted the truth. And I was like, holy hell, there is something to this. And I haven't left since. I've been here almost 3 years now. But that's the other thing, too. Like, on the flip side, though, how many of you out there have family and friends that have not sufficiently researched anything in the world of crypto, but they think that you're Looney Tunes for investing in any sort of crypto or XRP? Like, I bet everybody out there just raised their hand. You've got somebody in your life that is like that. And in my case, like, I've got 3 brothers, and they all own some crypto, including XRP. But they never really sufficiently researched it. They really did. They hold some, they're like, whatever, during the 2017. Even my mom owns some XRP. But none of them know anything about it. And none of them are interested in sufficiently learning further. And I'm just like, my gosh, be more curious, people. This is my family. And it's the same with my friends. I don't have one single friend I can talk to about this, which is why I'm thankful I have this YouTube channel as an outlet so I can engage with other people in the XRP community that are actually curious enough humans to want to learn more here. Anyway, so the piece continues. An earlier survey that polled 1,000 online investors reveals that 44% of respondents were not trading crypto because they felt they lacked the proper education. More than half of the women surveyed in particular admitted that a shortfall in knowledge was the biggest barrier to entry into crypto investing, even though their interest in doing so matched that of the men. Well, I don't care who you are. I mean, it's scary jumping in, right? It is. It certainly can be. And that's why, like, for me, when I did jump in, this is probably going to resonate with a bunch of you, especially when you jumped in and didn't know how markets work. And there's new people listening to you, so maybe you still don't. But I'll certainly admit, like, with the volatility occurring right after I jumped into crypto, and most of it was upward fine, but not all of it. Especially when it went to the downside, I was feeling intimidated, which is very normal as it turns out, especially if you don't know what's going on. But as you become educated and understand that people make irrational buying and selling decisions, well, if you're me at least, you become a lot more confident. Once you put the pieces together, like, oh, okay, so silly humans do this, and it's not just with crypto, it's with the stock market. It's with the gold and silver. That just people do this with all. It's more volatile, and the reason that it's volatile is because there's barely any money in this. Just imagine, if there was a small ecosystem of 5 people buying and selling something, if somebody put in $20 for any asset, how much money does it take to double the price of that asset? Well, just another $20. And so you can see how a small number of people, just in that tiny example right there, can result in extreme volatility with just a small handful of people trading. Now, obviously, this is a lot bigger, and you have an asset class that's over $300 billion, but this is by far the smallest asset class on the planet. Even with Bitcoin at 200 billion, that's a minuscule market cap. And then you look at XRP, that's, as I record this, I think a little over 11 billion. Oh my God, that's tiny. But the neat thing about this is, so yes, that's where you get the scary volatility. But once it goes on parabolic runs, history has shown us that, yes, there's probably going to be a massive retracement, maybe 80 to 90%, but every time that happens, you have a higher low than before, which is very fascinating. Historically, that is what happened. We have over 10 years of history to show us that is what has happened with Bitcoin. And even in the last market cycle with XRP started around half a penny, and its low point, and it took a pandemic to get there, its low point was about 11 cents. Way higher than half a penny. Okay, and it didn't stay there long, And right now, as I record this, I guess it's around 25 cents. And so you can see how this goes, ultimately. And so these irrational people that don't know why they're buying and selling, my gosh, I am counting on them. And I'm not doing it in some sort of vicious way. I'm just acknowledging this is what humans are going to do. I can't control that, nor do I wish to. It's no more evil than, like, can you imagine, like, if you said to a fireman, oh my God, you're making a career preying on fire victims? That's silly, obviously. Well, no, it's just a recognition that there's going to be fire, so let's do something about it. And in this case, they're going to be ridiculous humans not knowing what the hell they're going to do, and they're going to end up liquidating themselves effectively, and I'm just going to recognize that and then not behave like that. And so what's the answer to that? Well, for me, it's not timing markets. It's not being a trader on some sort of daily basis. I'm not a trader at all, in fact. All I am is just an investor, a long-term holder. And to me, that makes a whole lot more sense. But recognizing that this is what humans do, for me, has been very helpful. It's part of the reason that I say that I am emotionally bulletproof. And so, I bought some XRP as high as $2.55. That's the highest I bought it, I believe. But I only bought like 20 of them at that. All the rest of it was like in the 20-cent range before the parabolic run-up. Then I started purchasing more once it got down to about the 50-cent range. So think about that. Even then, after the bear market, it's in full swing, right? We're getting down to 50 cents finally. I was like, well, okay, I don't know where it's going to bottom out, so I'll just start dollar cost averaging in again. And think about that. It went from 50 cents down to this year in March, 11 cents. And I swear to you, I did not have any negative emotional reaction. I don't care. I'm not going to beat myself up for not timing the markets. And unless something fundamentally goes wrong with the code of XRP or it actually being adopted, I certainly suspect that it's going to continue over the long haul, appreciating price, going up, right? And so I'm not going to beat myself up because I bought 50-cent XRP. I'm not going to beat myself up because I bought 40-cent XRP or 30 cents or 25 cents. That's not the right way to look at it, in my opinion, and so I don't. What I'm looking at is how much XRP I hold. That's what it matters to me. I rarely think about what it's worth in terms of United States dollars. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm adding to my stack. I'm adding to my stack. I'm adding to my stack. And if history is any indication of where this is going, as long as XRP is something that continues to be remotely desired, more people are going to figure out the fundamentals. It's going to get used more. And to me, this is going to result in some serious price action, I suspect. Now, I could be wrong, and I admit, because again, like I said, I'm not offering financial advice and I don't have a financial background. I'm just sharing what I've been thinking through for years at this point. So fine, maybe it goes to zero, but I really don't think so. I really, really don't think so. And if I'm wrong, fine, and life will go on because I'm also only investing what I'm willing to lose in case I'm wrong, but my gosh, I could not be more confident. And so knowing this is how people behave, this simply does not affect me. Now take a look at this. A lack of financial education is this subheading. Falling into the FOMO or being frozen by the FUD is simply questioning your own judgment. Would either of these externally imposed calls to action or inaction ever go as viral if people were simply better informed? And so think about that. When the price of XRP is crashing, do you think it's because something has fundamentally changed in that moment with the value proposition of XRP? Or is it perhaps more likely that humans are being humans and just following the pack, FOMOing in and panic selling? I could not be more confident that it's FOMO and panic selling. Could not be more certain of it. And you can disagree, that's fine if you do. To me, it seems so obvious. Because when all of this parabolic action has happened, nothing has changed about the fundamentals of XRP or the ecosystem being built out around it, other than it keeps getting better. And so the price isn't reflective of that. And people are not sufficiently parsing out the differences between cryptocurrencies. And that's why since I'm aware of that, I am not the least bit scared. And I see the ecosystem actually being built up. My gosh. To me, it's just like, it feels like a no-brainer. Again, like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll live with that. But I could not be more confident based on the fundamentals and also understanding this is what humans do, understanding that the volatility is here is because there's a frenzy around the asset class. The markets are illiquid, so it's easy to manipulate them. On top of that, there are whales. This is just how humans are behaving. Humans are weird, man. And so this is what's happening. And a lot of people are going to lose money, and it's their own damn fault. Do research. Do your own research. If I lose all of my money, it's not Ripple's fault. It's my own damn fault if I'm wrong about this. And I will live with that. But I just don't think I am. So I'm making that bet. I've got skin in the game. Then the piece continues. The blame is not entirely on the individual, however. With reputable publications circulating articles on how you are the only one not striking it rich on Bitcoin, there's no wonder people are rushing to create a wallet. Yet the only acronym you should swear by is DYOR, which is do your own research. That's what it stands for. But they wrote, do your own research before you dip your own resources into the next Bitcoin. That is sage wisdom. Yes, do your own research. It's tough, but you can do it if you're diligent and if you are interested and if you care enough. And they're right, this whole narrative leads to ill-considered investments and propels the search for a quick crypto buck. Exactly, and so right now, we are still in a lull. Now, admittedly, there's been a lot of activity over, I'd say, August or so, and I've seen it dying down a little bit because there's been a lot of range-bound trading over the last couple of weeks. And so what's interesting is during this whole bear market, this was the time to pay attention to all this. So if you're paying attention now during the bear market, well, kudos to you. Even right now, if you just jumped in, props to you. Because most people, the people that are going to propel this upwards ultimately, it's going to be the people that once things start rolling, they're going to FOMO in again, and they're not going to know what the hell they're doing, and they're going to get burnt. A lot, not all of them. I mean, there'll be people like me, for example, that I rode this thing from 20-something cents all the way up to almost $4 and then back down, and I stuck around. I was like, holy hell, I researched it. There is something here. I understand people just act weird with their money, but no, I'm going to stick this out. And so here I am almost 3 years later. Some people aren't going to be, they're just going to feel burnt, and they're not going to look into it further. Oh, that was it, and it flames over. Okay, whatever. But I am counting on these people to jump in, and they are going to ramp this up, not just XRP, but the entire crypto asset class. And so I've been making sure for the last 3 years that I am sufficiently positioning myself. And that's what I decided to do for me. Because the time to buy, in my humble opinion, it's just my opinion, is not once the price starts ramping up. When that happens, it's either too late or almost too late. You know, maybe if you catch it right in the bit when it starts jumping up, maybe you can get something, but you don't know where the top's going to be. And so buying on the way up after you've already seen a tremendous rally, that's scary. But I know that people are going to do that because I have over a decade of history showing that people do that in crypto. And furthermore, they do it in the stock market. This is not unique to crypto. It's less volatile these days in the stock market. But look, you've got like 100 years or so, whatever the number is, of the stock market. This is what people do, man. Like they FOMO in. They've been, even before the term FOMO existed, people were FOMOing in decades and decades and decades and decades ago. It's not going to stop. And I think just being aware of this can go a long way. So, you know, this is something that I haven't really talked about in depth in, I don't know, ever or a long time. So I thought I'd bring this up because this article I read, I didn't want to run through the whole thing, and I didn't. I just ran through a few parts of it. But it was a great article. It really was. It got me thinking, and I just wanted to share these thoughts with you because it's worth being aware of this, right? Just being aware that a lot of this, it's really not fundamentals as much in the short term because enough people don't care about fundamentals yet. That they will more in the future, I think. It's just a bunch of FOMOing and panicking and illiquid markets, and there you go. And I think just understanding that can help people have calmer nerves and reach their own rational decisions. So whether you or not you want to buy or sell, make that decision for yourself. But I just think it's a terrible idea to let emotion be the driver of that, whatever it is. But that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.